Hello and welcome to Atomic Facepalm. It's Chris, and in this video, answers to frequently asked questions. Is it like Dungeons and Dragons, or like Risk, or fill in the blank? Kinda. If you've played somewhat complex board games or RPGs, it won't be that difficult to learn. If you've only played casual board games, however, it's going to be a bit more challenging. In my opinion, though, Dungeons and Dragons is more complex. I haven't played for years and years. Has it changed much? Oh my, yes. If it's only been a couple of years, it probably won't be that much different than you remember. But if it's been 6 years or more, it's going to be weird. There was a massive shakeup when it came to 8th edition. And since then, they've pretty much stayed along the same course. If you're like 7th edition and older, get ready for a new game. How much of it is skill? How much of it is luck? Yes. Next question. All right, fine. If I had to put a percentage from my experiences, and again, these are anecdotal experiences, take that for what it's worth, 70% skill, 30% luck. List building, tactics, stratagems, deployments, reactions, these things all require skill. But nearly everything requires rolling dice. So you could field a perfect army with every advantage in the book, and you could still get vaporized. Not easily, but it's possible. But, that's fairly realistic. There were battles like that in real life. So, are the rules hard to follow? Okay. Tricky answer to this one. I'm going to keep this distilled and simple. Some rules are hard to follow and some aren't. It's about 50-50 here. The basic rules are fairly accessible. Once you get into more tournament and competitive play, it can get overwhelming pretty fast if you're new to it. There are just too many updates that have been coming out recently. It's so hard to keep track of them all. But if you're playing casually, it should be okay. It should be digestible. Some codexes and factions are hilariously complex. To the point of absurdity. Looking at you, Adeptus Mechanicus. Have you ever gotten into a fight playing it? Yeah. Not a physical one, thankfully. I'm not that kind of person. But I have, regrettably, been in a few long and heated arguments. Again, nothing like I was going to punch the guy or person. It was more just rules discussions or trying to figure things out. If you're an insanely competitive person, I think it's not going to matter what game you play. You're just going to be competitive, and that's probably in you. So the game itself does not lend itself to confrontations, I would say. Now, I'm going to give a few stories here. I have seen people throw models across the room. I've seen one person punch a wall, put his hand right through it. I have seen someone swear and storm off and leave their models there, and everyone was like, well, okay, do we get to keep your army now? Again, these are rare. So just personal experience. I think it's more the personality of the person, not the game itself. How long have you been playing and painting, Chris? Thanks. Glad you asked, random British person. I've been playing since 2010, which was 5th edition. I've been painting models since then, or at least I learned how to paint models effectively and decently since 5th edition. Technically, I've been painting since I was yay high. As a kid, I played games like Battle Masters, Hero Quest, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition. The bad news is I grew up in Vermont, and there really wasn't anywhere to play or get Warhammer 40k models. I did know about it, though, and that's what kind of got me into it later in life. Oi, is 40k balanced? Don't know why I'm doing those accents. Anyway. No, 40k is not balanced. There are some attempts by Games Workshop that kind of balance it, but 40k it's too vast. It's too complex to be truly balanced. And Games Workshop, to their credit, openly admits this. Don't play 40k for balance. Play it to be an underdog. Play it to just try things out. Play it to have fun. If you want balance, go to chess. There just aren't that many games that are truly balanced. Yeah. Which army and faction is the easiest to learn there, Chris? No easy answer here. This changes with every new codex. It changes every edition. At the time of publishing this video, in my opinion only, here are the most straightforward factions to play from a rules standpoint. Orcs, Necrons, Space Marines. Yeah, okay, but which army or faction is the best there? Alright, in purely competitive terms, at the moment, emphasis on moment, like right this second, the best, most competitive armies are Tyranids, shockingly, Tau, and Adeptus Custodes. Now, this is based off metadata that I collected online, so, again, that'll probably change in a month or two. My advice again, don't choose an army just to be competitive. Don't be that person. The meta changes often. The codexes get nerfed, buffed, nerfed again. Choose an army you think is the coolest. Go from there. Yeah, but I suck at painting. Is that a problem? No. Practice makes perfect, right? Try and paint. See how you do. You might surprise yourself. There are lots of free resources online. Me personally, I am not an artistic person in that regard. So back in 2010, when I learned to paint, I just kind of did the work. I went and watched a lot of videos and practiced. If you're new to the hobby, there's some really great ones out there. The ones I can think of right now that are the easiest to probably learn and comprehend: Warhammer TV, Miniac, and I'll put these in the video description below as well. Striking Scorpion 82, and of course the Paintmaster General himself, Duncan Rhodes at the Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy. Also, if you have the money, you can always pay a painting service. There are hundreds out there. Some are pretty dang affordable too. And you could always buy pre-painted miniatures. Some people sell them that way, and eBay's a good place for that. How long does it take to play a game? Alright, this totally depends on the power level or the points values if you're going that route, and how well both players know the rules. So there's a lot of ins, a lot of outs. But I'm going to say for a mid-sized game, let's say 1,500 points or 110 power level, it can take a whole day if you and your opponent are brand new. This will speed up considerably once you learn all the basic rules. For veterans, a 2,000 point game can average about 4 to 5 hours. Again, though, it depends on the armies and who's playing. Are the models fragile? Yes, the models are fragile. Sometimes very fragile, especially the newer ones that have the pointy bits and the bases with the tiny little things connecting them. Handle them like family heirlooms. Repainting chipped and broken models is awful. I speak from experience. My advice, store your models safely away in a glass cabinet, a display case, or just a storage bin when you're not using them. Can I play the game with my kids? Yes! The setting is grimdark, but the game is, for the most part, kid and family friendly. Is it like the video games? Not even close, no. There have been a lot of Warhammer/Warhammer related video games released, but the tabletop game is nothing like them. I don't know why Games Workshop hasn't released a proxy. So maybe the closest game is Dawn of War 2 for the PC, but that's really more like Kill Team. It's more a very small squad. There's just nothing that's really comparable to the tabletop game. All right, I got the money. Where do I buy this stuff? Easy answer is you go to the Games Workshop webpage. But often they're out of the most popular stuff and shipping can take ages, at least if you're in the US. I would recommend, if you have a store nearby, just one that sells board games and comics, dice, nerdy stuff, give them a shot. At least that way you're supporting a local vendor, and they'll usually order anything that they don't have in stock. eBay is an okay resource, but since it's eBay, be wary. Just triple check the product description, make sure they're not going to send you an empty box, and make sure everything is listed precisely for what you want. Fun fact, if you're in America or Canada, Games Workshop banned online sales for their models from third-party retailers years back. It was a really bad move. Some places went out of business because of it. But if you're in America, you can still order things from UK web stores and have them shipped here if you can afford the postage, which can be brutal. Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? There are no good guys. I'm not kidding. There's none. Just varying levels of bad guys. It's 40K. It's grimdark. The birds outside going nuts. The closest thing to semi-decent protagonists in Warhammer 40,000 are probably the Tau. They do try to negotiate. They try diplomacy. But if they don't like your style or they're not sure how things are going, they will just enslave your entire species. You might think Space Marines and Astra Militarum are the good guys, but these factions perform some of the most heinous war crimes in existence. do the models ever get outdated? You betcha! But even some of the oldest models still look okay, if painted to a medium standard, that is. Fun trivia time. The models for the Eldar Warp Spiders haven't changed since 1994. No, seriously, they haven't changed since 1994. Come on! There are new base sizes that Games Workshop have repackaged with some of those older models, including the Warp Spiders. But to their credit, they have said you don't have to swap the bases out if you don't want to. You can still keep the old ones. But the bigger bases just look so much better. Well, there it is, a quick FAQ session. Hope you found it informative. We will see you next time. Good luck. Have fun.